Browning Mountain is a beautiful tune written by Steve Allee, and actually he wrote for a duo album we did in 2014, and it combines some interesting elements, I think, of some almost a modern sound, harmony moving quickly, but a very beautiful melody with some interludes, and then a very open solo section that you can really just kind of feel your way around, and you don't necessarily have to play all the time. And I think in our performance, I always find myself listening and then sometimes just letting a note ring while the band interacts. So that's a real, I think, interesting, and this tune kind of provokes that. So I think you really want to just kind of hear what's going on around you and then maybe react to it, but sometimes just let it happen. But a beautiful very rhythmic melody that Steve wrote. Has maybe a little hint of Chick Corea in there and a few of the runs, but just a really great tune, and once again I think just evokes feelings that he was thinking about in a particular place and day, and even though I don't even know where Browning Mountain is, I mean, I always end up kind of going there when we play the tune, so it's a great tune.
Actually, Browning Mountain is not a mountain at all. It's actually a tall hill in Indiana, not too far from where I live in the country. And but it has a little bit of folklore. It has all these stones at the top of the mountain, so to speak, that people said that maybe were put there by aliens. So so there's a little bit of Indiana folklore to this place. I wanted to write a song that had kind of the country feel to it, but so I stayed away from seventh chords, and so it's all triad and triad-based chords over other bass notes. It's a little bit of a challenge for me to play this because I'm always wanting to put another extension note in the chord, like a ninth or a 13th or something. So that's the challenge for me. I wrote this with Rusty in mind, though, because I knew that him and I would have this chemistry playing the melody together. So even though it's a very involved, intricate melody and 16th notes, I knew that he would be very accurate in playing it. So, and the vibes and the piano playing that melody unison just gets a beautiful other sound. It's like when we completely blend, we create another sound, and I think Rusty achieved that very well. It's on our duo album, Far Away, and it's fun to play this. Though it kind of challenges us to think, how do we play this with a group now? How do we play this with the bass and drums? And we just stretch out just a little more, maybe just a little more rhythmic in our solo approaches. So we hope you enjoy this cut. Thank you.
Bassists and drummers are often called upon to create a part for a tune, especially when it's an original tune that's not been recorded or heard before. In this particular tune, we have a melody and we have chord changes, but we don't really have written bass parts or drum parts. But the way that this tune is written so clearly by Steve Allee, we have an indication of exactly what we should do. The harmonic rhythm is shown very clearly where the chords change with the hits in the melody. And so the guesswork is kind of taken out of it if Steve and I will just look at the harmonic rhythm, where the chords move with the melody, and play those rhythms. That will be the framework that will give us the bass part and the drum part for this whole tune. So it's not the easiest thing to do on the fly, but the information is there if you know how to synthesize it, and the result is that it kind of sounds like we're playing a composition that everything's been written out. I want to comment briefly on the feel of this tune, the sort of straight eighth, again, kind of an ECM-ish feel, or improvised straight eighth note music. It leaves so much room for interaction, freedom, the ability of the rhythm section to take the tune one way or the other. It can go to a more open, spacious feel, or it can go to a more insistent and driving feel. And I think if you listen to the start of the vibraphone solo, actually you'll hear this moment where when we get to the solo changes, where the chords slow down and there are 2 measures per bar, play the top of that chorus, and the question is up in the air. Are we going to air it out and let it be spacious, or are we going to groove a little bit? And you can hear Steve on the second beat play, bump, bump, and it locks the band into the characteristic that we're going to take. So it's amazing. I'm always grateful to play with wonderful musicians who interact and who lead with subtle hints like that. And when everyone's paying attention, that's when the magic kind of happens, because the feel can turn on a dime, can go in all kinds of different places. And that's one of the pleasures of playing this kind of music, and a great composition by Steve Allee.
This is a fun tune to play, and it really allows me just to follow the melody and orchestrate on my cymbals. You know, so much of the time drummers are playing cymbal beats, but this is not that kind of tune. It has to be flexible, and your cymbal really has to just follow the harmonic rhythm, as Jeremy was talking about. The harmonic rhythm, of course, is the rhythm of the harmonies. So when things don't happen as rapidly, we can really air things out. So I'm constantly thinking of how the harmonic rhythm affects my cymbal work and, of course, everything else. That trust that comes within the band is really necessary for a tune like this. There was a lot of space in this tune where everybody's band eighth note is existing, and there's kind of a big word here, deference, going on, where at one point Steve kind of set the tone, at one point Jeremy set it, at one point I put some things in. So we're all just, giving and taking, but trying to move the tune ahead. I like to say that a tune like this needs to be seamless. And I think we achieve that, and you would achieve that if everybody's thinking the same time feel, and thinking about maybe it's more what you don't play than what you do play.